Well, here we are again, y'all. Good morning, and good morning to you. This is yours truly, Dr. Michael Freeland. I'm in the spot. I'm in the seat once again in this place to talk about those things that seem to matter so much. And the more we live this life, the more we realize that life is just maybe a little too short. And today is no different than we got to speak about this thing that we call the one and only mental real estate. So before I get started, let me ask you, how was your weekend? How was your morning? Did you have an opportunity to get with somebody that you love? Did you spend time with somebody that loved you back and cared about you just as much? Did you love on yourself? Did you do some things in your life that might have mattered just a little bit more? Did you add value to somebody this past week? Did you get value added to you this past week? Now here I am, Dr. Michael Freeland, in this seat once again, talking about the mental real estate and what it means to understand more about you. Understand more about your perspective, your thought, your process in life, because you know what? This life, woo, man, can it be something different? But I know one thing's for sure, two things for certain, we're still here. And we have an opportunity to add more to what we know in the mental real estate value. So let me get right to it because I won't waste much of your time today. It's another great day. Monday Mental Real Estate here, talking about the positive and negative contributors to your mindset. And what does that mean for you? Absolutely everything. And today is no different. So good morning to all of you. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Michael Freeland, talking about the mental real estate of your mentality and your life. And what does this mean today? Wow. Let me get to this life application because I'm reminded of all those times when we were kids. Now, there's always a focal point when I start talking about this life application because everything matters. Everything means so much. And you know what? I got to tell it all, guys. I love it. I tell as much as I can because life is worth talking about. And I know this because my grandmother's been passed on for some years now. But let me tell you, man, the nuggets that she left, woo, man, irrefutable. You can't even dispute any of the things that she left behind for all of us as family. Now, I can remember those days as kids, and we would always get ready for the holiday time because the holidays was always one of the best times, and we always got a chance to get together. And I know that the family looked forward to it because we all met up, and you guys may remember days like this, times like this, and it was always a holiday time that we would always meet up at where? Grandma's house. Grandma's house is what we called Grand Central Station. That was the one place, no matter what was happening, no matter where you was going, that when grandma called everybody to the table, you showed up. Now, this is something about showing up because it's crazy because when I showed up or when my mom showed up, we would always come, with something in hand. A lot of times it was so many people that you had to cook so much food and you had to try to feed everybody. So I can remember those days of the holiday, man, when we would put that food together. And when the holidays came around, everybody knew, grab that pot, grab that pan, make sure that you don't leave this, make sure that you don't leave that, get those dishes, grab those cups, and everybody would go to grandma's house to show up. When grandma said, listen, it didn't matter. Let me just say this because it didn't even need to be a holiday, because if you understand what grandma's house was like, even if you didn't understand how it was like to be with the loved ones in your family, you showed up. But grandma's house was Grand Central Station. Now, why is that? Because at Grand Central Station is where you knew that was what they called the meetup spot. No matter what you did, you brought your pots, you brought your pans, or you brought your children, because that's something how we kept our generations together, because we showed up. Now, this is Monday Mental Real Estate. I'm here to talk about the perspective of your thoughts, your positive and negative contributors, and what it really means to you. Because I can remember those days on those holidays when my mom we would get together, and it seemed like it didn't matter if it was Easter, didn't matter if it was 4th of July, it didn't matter if it was Thanksgiving or Christmas, it didn't matter if it was President's Day. When grandma made that phone call and said, listen, I want y'all to come over to the house, even if it was on a Sunday dinner on a regular work month, in a regular work week, it didn't matter. If she called and said, I want y'all to come over to the house, we're going to get together and have something to eat. I remember that because there's something about what it was when grandmother made that call to everybody that you needed to show up. Now, it wasn't just for my mom to show up because she received the call. It wasn't because my aunts or uncles showed up because they received the call. It's because grandma knew when she spoke and her voice went out and said, I need you to show up, that voice would not only travel to her children, but it would travel to her children's children. And if you live long enough, it would travel to the children's children's children. Isn't that something? And it would even work its way up to the great grandmother and the grandfather. It would always work it out because it was always Grand Central Station. And when she made that call, everybody had to show up. Now, what was it meaning for us as family to show up? Was it just because grandma made the phone call? I would think not, because, it was something because we got a chance to spend time together with all of our cousins, spend time together with all of our family members, spend time together with the people that we love. And we didn't even know just how much grandma really brought the family together. And it was all because we showed up. Now, showing up is something. It's something to be able to do because we got graduations coming up. We have so many different things in our lives and areas coming up, and we talk about showing up. Because, you make these phone calls and you tell the family, like, I got a daughter getting ready to graduate. And it's something how you get prepared for this graduation thing, and now all of a sudden you got all these letters going on, all these things going on, and people are talking to you everywhere. All the family that's been there, everybody that had something to do with your level of education, or with your upbringing, everybody that put input. It's something how 18 years can go by and you see all the people that have done something in the lives of your children, in your life, or in the lives of people that they care about around you, how they always seem to show up at those moments. And see, a lot of times we think we're giving out these cards because we want people to come. No, but see, we fail to realize at times that showing up is about being in the presence, about being in the now. But let me give you the true definition of Dr. Michael Freeland here, because showing up is defined as to be conspicuous or visibly clear. To be conspicuous or visibly clear. Now that's showing up, isn't it? Wow. Now, that's funny. How many people were being conspicuous or visibly clear because they showed up? Now, that's funny because there's so many different ways people can show up in your life. They can show up through money. They can show up through phone calls. They can show up through emails or text messages. They can show up, but you know what? Isn't it something a little different when you can be seen? Doesn't it mean just a little bit more when someone can actually see you show up? It's something how you watch their face when they show up and you see them, they change. When they see that you've showed up, they change when they see your presence. When you walk in the room, it's a little bit different than a phone call or a text message, isn't it? When they show up, when you show up and you walk in the room and the person that didn't expect you sees your face and you can see the visible expression of how you showed up for them. They never forget it, do they? They never forget it. But this is Monday Mental Real Estate because I didn't just come in here to just show up. Because there's more to just showing up. I didn't finish the second half. So this is Monday Mental Real Estate. So now I got to give it to you. Because it's one thing to be showing up for other people, isn't it? Because you know what? They don't see how you have to rush. They don't see how you have to get through. They don't see all the things you got to do to prepare just to get in that car, go where you got to go, drive where you got to drive, and walk in the room to show up for them. But isn't it something when you show up how you come prepared? You got your clothes on, you look nice, you smell good, you show up for people, and people say, "Oh my God, you look so nice." And you say, "Oh, I look, thank you. Why, thank you. I appreciate that." But what they don't understand is that you did all this for them. What they don't understand is that when you did all this for them, is that they were going to be in a position to benefit from you just showing up. Now, here's what I love about this, because I'm getting myself together here, but here's what I love about this just showing up. Because what we don't get is a lot of times in showing up, you forget something. You have to show up for yourself. Now, let me ask you, because this is Monday Mental Real Estate, I got to change this around a little bit. When we're talking about showing up for yourself, let me ask you the question. How do you show up for yourself? Now, I'm not asking you the question, how do you do it for yourself? Because there's a clear difference. I ain't asking you how you do it for yourself. I said, how do you show up for yourself? Now, there's more to it than just being there, isn't there? Now, when you talk about showing up, let me ask you, how do you prepare to show up for yourself, because there's a lot of people that seem to go around and live their life. They do their things. Yes, they'll be there for you. They'll come when you call them. They'll be there when you ask them to. They'll deposit into your life when you need it. But let me ask you something, because there's a lot of times we find ourselves in this place, alone. And when you find yourself in that place alone, this is the time when you need you more than anybody. Let me say that again. This is the time when you need you more than anybody. So how do you show up for yourself when your heart is heavy? How do you show up for yourself when you can't get your thoughts together? How do you show up for yourself when you're sick? How do you show up for yourself? Because it's funny, because some of the hardest things to do is to tell somebody that they need to figure this out themselves. Because if they reach out to you, your automatic response is, how can I help you? And it doesn't mean that you don't mean them well, that you don't want the best for them. It doesn't mean any of those things. It just merely means, have you thought through the process of showing up? Because what does it mean for me to show up in the process for you? Here it is. What does it mean for me to show up for you? And you're not even there. Uh-oh. Let me ask that again. What does it mean for me to show up for you, but you're not even there? Now, what do you mean, Dr. Freeland, but you're not even there? I can show up for you, but did you show up for yourself? Because if you don't show up for yourself, how can I reach you in a position and place where you haven't even shown up yet? I'm still waiting for you. Now, we have friends, we have family that we've dealt with, but you know, it's funny because I love to see people overcome. I love to see people overachieve. I love to see people fight through what they've been through. Why is that? Because you know, there's a different level of processing and understanding and knowledge you gain from fighting your way through. But again, how do I get to you? How do I get to that word that you need? How do I get to that mentality that you have? How can I, for layman's terms, show up for you when you're not even there yet? I'm waiting for you. Now, showing up for yourself is something. Because here's the Dr. Michael Freeland version. Showing up for yourself means prioritizing your well-being and needs. Listen to this. It means prioritizing your well-being and needs, setting boundaries, and living in alignment with your values. Wow. Bet you never heard it like that before. Now, let me try this again, because, you know, sometimes it's so nice you got to say it twice. So I got to give you something, because we're getting somewhere today. When it says showing up for yourself, we're talking about, it means prioritizing your well-being. I didn't say, it ain't talking about straightening up your drawers and organizing your closets. We ain't talking about that. Your well-being and needs, and setting boundaries. Now, listen, this is something how you show up for yourself. Now, you got to set boundaries to show up for yourself. Setting boundaries and living in alignment with your values. Woo! What is it that means so much to you that you're willing to show up for? What is it that has been in your way all these times that you need to get out of your way? What is it that prioritizing means you need to restructure? What is it about showing up for yourself that gives you a now different understanding of what that means to show up? It's about committing. It's about committing to your own growth and happiness. Listen to that. It's about committing to your own growth and happiness and acknowledging your worth. Woo! Woo! That right there is heavy. Let me say that again. It's about committing to your own growth and happiness and acknowledging your worth. Now, that word worth right there, we ain't talking about $1. We're not talking about $20. We ain't talking about monetary things. We're talking about what it means to you. What are you worth when we're talking about how to show up for yourself? Because listen, we know in this life people will diminish you based on how they can elevate themselves. I've had many people walk on my back so they can stand tall. I've had many people trample me in the ground so that they can overlook me to see what's ahead of me. Because I was down so low because my back was hurting, because they was walking on me. They stepped on me. Oh my God. But when it came time, I had to figure out some things, understand the value of myself. But you know something? Let me tell you something. People can walk on your back and they will stand on top of you so that they can see the elevation in their life. They will get ahead of you. But let me tell you something. Have you ever had somebody stand on you? This is something, because when someone stands on you, guess what they do? Yes, they elevate themselves. They get up to another height. They can probably see farther. They can probably see more. But what happens when the person at the bottom being walked on gets somebody else that's on their back and they remove themselves from there? Have you ever slid out from something or someone? What happens? When you make that move, what happens? Whatever's up, boom, comes crashing down. And you say, you know what? You can no longer stand on me. You can no longer walk on me. I cannot be your doormat anymore, because at this point you realize that there's value in the get up. There's value in the get up. It ain't about shutting up. It ain't about putting up. Sometimes the value is in getting up. It's not about staying there, laying there, and allowing other people to elevate because you've given them information, because you've helped them, and you realize that, hey, maybe they are supposed to be getting a little bit farther than you. It does not stop your elevation because of the proclamation. What has been given and donated to you in your life, what has been said and spoken into you, will come to pass. Will happen immediately when it's supposed to. That's funny, because we think of immediately as right now. We think of immediately as it has to happen right now, in this moment, in this very second. But do you know, in God's time, it is, what did they say, is one day as of 1,000 years, and that immediately when he said so may be looking at you as if you thinking it is going to happen right now. You think that's your immediately, when your immediately is in an area of your life. It could take 5 years. It could take 2 months. Whatever length it takes is what it takes. But you have to, but listen, here's the thing. God can't be there for you. He can't be there for you. Now, why am I telling you he can't be there for you when you say he's everywhere? He can't be there for me. Why would you tell me that God can't be there for me? Because I said it earlier. How can I show up for you if when I show up, you're not there? So the question bolds again, how do you be there for yourself? It's a serious question. How do you be there for yourself? Because when it comes to you, I gotta give it to you. Prioritizing your well-being, self-care, rest and recovery, seek professional help. Those 3 stages right there is enough. Just underneath the prioritize your well-being, I'm giving you the tools that you're going to need to show up for yourself. It says self-care, rest and recovery. Those 2 right there is alone. How many of y'all tired this morning because of this weekend? How many of y'all did so much that you don't even want to go to work, or you don't want to even do nothing today? How many of you sitting under bulletproof 1, and now we're talking about seeking professional help? We can't get past self-care and rest and recovery. But now let's move on. Now, setting boundaries, because that's important. Learn to say no. Some people look at no as a cardinal sin. There's a sin in saying no. What do you mean, Dr. Freeland? There is no sin in saying no. Find it in the Bible where it tells me you are stricken in the Bible because you have committed a cardinal sin. You told somebody no. Isn't that something how that ain't in the Bible, but we hold ourselves accountable and feel guilty for telling somebody no. So listen, learn to say no. Communicate your limits. Communicating your limits. These are all the things that I said for showing up. Now, we talking about all this stuff around you, but it all contributes to you. Let me say that again. We're talking about all of the things around you, but it contributes to you. So not only are we learning to say no, but communicate your limits. So people understand, be assertive in your communication, where your boundaries are with others. And practice self-compassion. Woo! Practicing self-compassion. Now, here's the thing. We give it all out. I know it. We give it all out. We dish it out. We want people to feel good. We know what it's like because we have it. You can't give it if you don't have it, right? That's right. But how many times did I also tell you that as you pour out, that at some point you will need to be filled again? At some point, you will empty. At some point, you won't have it to give. So how do you put back into yourself when we're talking about showing up for yourself, practicing. Oh my gosh. Practicing self-compassion. First thing it starts off with is be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Now, why would I tell you to be kind to yourself? And look, man, you know how many times we wake up in the morning and realize all the damage we've done to ourselves, how we beat ourselves up, how we tell, this is why we have the conversations. Girl, I need to go to the gym, man. I need to get out and do some walking or something. Be kind to yourself. Listen, some of us speak to ourselves, and I was told, that I said, why are you talking to yourself? They said, it's okay as long as you don't answer. It's okay to talk to yourself as long as you don't answer. Because, like, man, Mike, you're so silly. Like, why would you do that? Man, that was so stupid. Why would you do that? I've done all those things. But being kind to yourself, oh my goodness. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend. Be as kind to you as you would be to others. Now, how are we showing up for ourselves now, guys? Stay with me. Now, here's a big one. Forgive. Woo! Forgive. Get goosebumps on that one. Forgive yourself. Oh, man. It's hard to forgive yourself from damage that you believe you might have caused. It's hard to forgive yourself from damage you believe you might have caused. Now, this is what I love about this platform in mental real estate, because I can connect with you where you are. You don't need an audience of 150 people for you to connect with yourself, because it's something when we're in the audience of people and somebody speaks a word that comes right down your street and hits you right in the face that we don't want to show it. We don't want to display it. We just sit back and we hold ourselves together and we say, yeah, that was a good word. But the truth of the matter is the fact that we have to deal with what's being said is now personal, because you are sitting there by yourself listening to this message, and it's hitting you where it hurts sometimes, because sometimes I said you have to learn to forgive yourself. That's a hard thing to do. We'll hold it in for years for somebody we couldn't stand. And in the moment we see them, you know what? We get forgiveness in our hearts years before we can ever see them. Isn't that something? You get forgiveness in your heart years before you can ever see them. And when you run into them, you can't wait to say, hey, listen, brother, I'm sorry. I know some years ago, it's been a long time, but I know that there's been some years between us. And I just wanted to say, I just want to ask you if you could forgive me. I'm so sorry that we had to have this misunderstanding. And it's funny how it takes so long, but you hold on to it. But when it comes to you, who you live with every single day, who you wake up and feed and clothe and shelter and take care of and gain finances for, you who show up for yourself every day, don't understand how to forgive yourself. It's important. Celebrate your achievements. What did you do? Celebrate your achievements. Now, all this posting on Facebook about, I got this award, I got that award, I got this achievement at work, I got these graduations, I got these diplomas, I'm posting everything on social media. But it's for them. Do you realize everything you post is for them? Who is them? Everybody in the world that tunes in, everybody in the world that looks at Facebook, everybody that has electricity, Wi-Fi connection, or cell phone coverage. Everything that you share is for them. But how do you celebrate your achievements? It ain't by posting. It's not by putting things out there for the world to see so that they can stroke your ego, make you feel good about all of your accomplishments. Is it good? Yes, it's good. I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying is, how do you celebrate your achievements? Acknowledge your success and acknowledge the work you put in to achieve them. Did you do it? What did it take to get it done? And when you got it done, how did you celebrate yourself when it comes to that? Living in alignment with your values. Here's a bullet. And I'm going to wrap this up quick. Live in alignment with your values. Identify your values. Reflect on what is most important to you and how you want your life, how you want to live your life. Identify your values. Reflect on what is most important to you and how you want to live your life. Make choices that reflect your values. Did you hear this? Listen, this is good. Identify your values and then do what? Make choices that reflect your values. See, we can call our values all day. Now I'm walking down your street. We can call our values all day, but we don't always walk the path that reflects our values. So in other words, if you gonna talk that talk, what they say, walk the walk. You can't go nowhere if you ain't moving. But I'm saying if you're gonna move, you gotta move within the values you created, that you want to see for yourself. Because you know what? You still also need to be authentic. Live in a way that is true to your values and belief. Belief and your belief. Be authentic. Live in a way that is true to your values and belief. Last but not least, seek self-knowledge and growth. How many of us think that because we live in long enough, we know it, we know enough, we're good? But let me ask you the question, when's the last time you picked up a book of knowledge? When's the last time you gave yourself an opportunity to read something? Yeah, I said it, read something, not something that reads to you. When's the last time you decided to pull back something and read on it and listen and learn? Because they said before, you're never too old to learn, but man, after you leave school, it seems so much harder to pick up a book unless you are a bookworm. But you know what I'm saying to you today? Practice gratitude. Learn and grow. And most importantly, be present. Pay attention to your thoughts, feelings, and body sensations. Be present. Pay attention to your thoughts, feelings, and body sensation. Hey, this is Dr. Michael Freeland. I'm talking to you on mental real estate today. Because it's important for so many reasons. Because I can remember seeing how grandma used to go through so many different things. And when she did, every year we would show up for grandma. Every year we would be there when she called us. But you knew there was a time that they was going to come to an end. There was a time where showing up wasn't just enough. We had to be there. And being there means one thing. The same person that called us to the table, that kept our families together for so many years, is now getting ready to say goodbye. And when she said goodbye, in her last days, you know, she couldn't even speak. She lost her voice, but she still had her cognitive function of visibility and her hearing. And I can remember during those times when grandma didn't have the voice to call everybody to the house anymore. But you know what happened? Through all of the years of her telling everybody to show up, the family knew when it was time to show up. And in her last days, we sat back and we would go into the room and grandma would just lay there in her bed because she passed in the house that she lived in. That was her wish. We would always show up to the house, and the first place that everybody went to was at her bedside. And I can remember taking my son maybe at 1.5 years old and my daughter at maybe 6 or 7 years old. And I took them into the room to see their grandma. And grandma looked at them and she smiled, because something about children brings joy to the face of your elders. And when she got a chance to see my kids, she just gave a smile. And it meant so much because we couldn't hear what she was saying, but we could see what she was feeling. So when I tell you to show up, it's one thing to show up, because when we showed up for grandma, it meant so much to her, and it meant so much to us because we showed up. And I saw how grandma showed up for us so much that it was when it was her time to show up for herself, she was ready. Because the last thing I could always remember was seeing my grandmother smile. She couldn't talk anymore, but she just looked, and those eyes told you everything. And when she smiled with her face, she smiled with her heart. She let you know everything's going to be okay. So although we showed up for her, she let us know when it was time for her to go. Now it's time for you to show up for yourself. Hey, I'm Dr. Michael Freeland, talking to you about Monday Mental Real Estate. Understanding the perspective of your thought today. Because what I want to get you to understand is that life is worth living. But what's it worth living if you're not here? If you don't understand your process, it's one thing for me to show up for you. But how do you show up for yourself? Be in that place to know how to show up for you. Because I love how you show up for me, but it concerns me that we have people out here that love showing up, but they've never taken self-inventory to know how to be there for themselves when it matters the most. Because it matters so much how we live this life, the life that we live and the life that we give, and the gratitude that we feel along the way. Because just as they keep showing up for me, one day I'm going to have to turn this thing in. And when I do, I'm going to be so proud. So proud that I look back and I said, you know what? We've done this together. But as I go, remember one thing. Keep showing up for yourself. Do not be secondary. Your primary is sufficient, and it is enough. And your primary is what it's going to take to keep showing up for others, because one day they're going to have to understand how to show up for themselves as well. God bless you all. Thank you for taking your time for Monday Mental Real Estate. It's another great one. Thank you so much. Let me shout some people out. Yolanda Shaheed, thank you so much. I appreciate you from the heart for being there for me. Mom Berry, Pam Berry, Mom, thank you so much. I see you, so proud of me. Mom, you know my journey. You know I've come from so far away. Patricia Burns, my family, my people, I love you. Thank you so much, cousin, for being in here. I appreciate you. My brother Antoine Montooth, all the way in PA, Pennsylvania. What's going on? Michelle Gulliford, oh my God, I love you. Thank you for being in, tuning in. My brother Cliff Chris, it's been some time, brother. Let's catch up and let's keep up. I appreciate all that you guys have done to help me along the way of this journey of Monday Mental Real Estate. And last but not least, my life's blood, my mother, the one who understands this whole story I just told you guys about grandma and what it means. My mom would say, yeah, that's mama. That's mama. But you know what? Mama left enough for us, didn't she? She left enough for us to do what we need to do. And she told us with her last smiles and cries, with her last wince of pain, she told us with her last dying breath, it's your turn. It's your turn now. I've shown up for you all these years. Now it's time for you to show up for yourself. So God bless you all. Take time and enjoy your Monday and get to the place where you know you need to be. Show up for somebody else, because one day they're going to need to understand what it means to show up for themselves. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves and have yourself a blessed Monday and a safe week. And we'll talk again soon. So take care, guys. I know it went a little long, but it's so good sometimes. God bless you all and take care. Have yourself a good one. I'm out of here. Dr. Michael Freeland. Another Monday Mental Real Estate done. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.